Welcome, everyone. Appreciate you coming. This is the opening of the regular Bryan City Board of Education monthly meeting for August 9th, 2021. If you would, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, Kevin?
Scott.
Here.
Ben.
Here.
Deb.
Here.
Dustin.
Here.
Mike.
Here.
Thank you.
I'm hoping that you all had an opportunity to look over the July regular board meeting minutes. Asking if there's any corrections, additions, questions. So, okay, hearing none, I would accept a motion to approve those July meeting minutes.
So moved.
Thanks, Deb.
Second.
Thanks, Ben.
Scott.
Yes.
Ben.
Yes.
Deb.
Yes.
Dustin.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on down to public participation.
We had no registrants.
Okay, thank you. And then on down to 4, which is, or 6, which is communications. Do we have a 4-county report from Cindra?
Yeah, I do have a 4-county report from Cindra Keeler. She passed along that 4 county students have attended their packet pickup, and they have another opportunity to do so tomorrow, August 10th. And that's all of their back-to-school items included in those packets. The first day of school for juniors is quickly approaching, and that'll be on August 18th. And then all of the remaining students report on August 19th. School runs from 8:45 in the morning till 3 o'clock p.m. in the afternoon. They had 3 students that competed in the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, which is also known as FCCLA. And they were at their National Leadership Conference, which was held virtually this year, receiving National Silver Medal Award, or the National Silver Medal Award was Daisy Jack, and she had a focus on children. So congratulations to Daisy for her achievements there. And then she wanted to pass along that nomination forms for the 4-County Career Center Wall of Fame and the Distinguished Service Award are now being accepted. So you can go to their website and check that out. And she wishes us all the best as we start our new school year. So from Cindra Keeler.
Great. Thank you, Cindra, for doing that report and being part of that board. Second thing is introduction of new BCS staff. Are we doing this now, or are we doing this individually as the reports come?
Yeah, so what I was going to ask our administrators to do is when they are called up for their report, if there is a new staff member here, they can bring them up and just do a brief introduction of them as well and give their brief board report, and then they can go back and have a seat and we'll call the next group up. So we'll just follow along in order here. We do have Mr. Savage on the spot listed first. If we just go in that order, as long as you're ready, Mr. Savage. Okay.
Thank you. I was able to share with the board through email our fall sports coaches, winter sports coaches, and spring sports coaches. The key for us is that fall sports scrimmages and contests have begun, and we're in the process. We had a tennis match tonight. We have a girls soccer scrimmage going on as we speak right now. We're up and running. Looking forward to the fall sports and getting into the travel that goes along with it, as well as hosting the events for our community. Also, Final Forms is up and running. It's been fully implemented for grades 7 to 12, and that is our student athlete coach management system. It is a digital one-stop shop for collecting registration forms, compiling medical and academic clearances, and communicating with our athletes, coaches, parents, and staff. For example, we have 280 plus kids involved in fall sports for the fall of 2021. Any questions for me athletics-wise?
Did you say 208 or 280?
We have 280 plus in fall sports for grades 7 to 12. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Savage. And next up we have elementary. So I know we have Mrs. Thormeyer here. I'm just going to check this microphone. I believe this might still be, there we go. Is that on? Test, test. Can you guys hear that over the Is that good? Okay, so we are on. All right, there you go.
Good evening, everyone. I am here to actually introduce Delaney Miley. I'll start out with our new staff. She's joining the elementary this year. She is a University of Toledo grad, a Bryan graduate herself, and we're really excited to welcome her back to her home. She will be teaching our upstairs, so our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade pull-out, like our cross-categorical unit. She has 9 students. We're up to 9 students already. So we're super excited to welcome her and glad to have her on staff with us. Quick updates for the elementary building. We're preparing for open house and working on our social distancing expectations for having all of those fun people back in the building. I know everybody's excited about that. And then also, working on with the teachers and things like that at this point, staying up to date with all of that information. Our first week of school is boys and girls have a day for kindergarten, and then on Friday they all come together. So we're just, working on the details of what that's going to look like to welcome all of those young kids back into the building.
Thank you.
Schumacher, I have 2 that are ready to be here, so.
Great, we're excited to have
Ready
them.
to send them also.
Are you ready to send them is the question.
Time to get back on a routine. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. All right, next up, Mr. Osba is here representing the middle school and high school. And I don't believe we have any new staff in attendance with him this afternoon.
That is correct. We have a new staff member coming in. That's Brock Homeyer. He's not able to be with us tonight, but we'd like to welcome him to the 612 building. We have just a few calendar items in regards to things. Tomorrow is registration day for our building. That goes from 11:30 to 7:30 tomorrow night. And then at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, we have an orientation for our 6th grade students and any new students to the district. We encourage parents to come in and for that meeting. That's again at 6 o'clock. That's going to be led by Mr. Arnold. Our registration, though, is happening in the cafeteria. Our open house is August 16th, and our times are from 6 to 7:30. And then we have, believe it or not, our picture day is the 3rd day of school. That is Friday, August 20th. We do this because of student IDs and so forth, so that's the reason why ours is so early in the school year, but 3rd day, and so we've already started putting information out there in regards to that. Lots of interesting things happening. If you came in today, you would have heard the marching band out on the field. They're out there rehearsing. Poor Mr. Camarillo's sitting here right now going, I'm missing rehearsal.
Quite all right.
So that's happening. And then we have a lot of things planned for our in-service and so forth. But for our 4 county students, a big piece of information is our 4 county students that are juniors. They start on Wednesday, the 18th. And seniors at 4 county do not start until Thursday, the 19th. So we just kind of want to make sure that folks know that. That's it for the 612 building.
Thank you, Mr. Oswald.
Thanks, Steve. Next up, we have Mrs. Cox, our new Director of Teaching and Learning. So welcome, Mrs. Cox.
I am excited to serve Bryan City Schools in a different capacity. I took over the curriculum position, and all summer we've been getting in books, so that is what you see over there. We've been getting in books all summer. I've already been in communication with some of our teachers and looking at their data from the previous year, ways to work with them to different teaching strategies, or looking at their scores, what they did really well in, what they need some growth in. So I'm excited to serve in that capacity. So.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Karen. And last up, brings up Mr. Bassett, our Assistant Superintendent, and he is going to introduce our new school resource officer.
Well, I'm going to start out with a reminder and save the best part for last. Welcome in, Adam. But just a reminder that for school lunch this year, we'll operate on the Seamless Summer Program, which means that Type A is available at no cost for kindergarten through 12th graders. At the 6 to 12 building, we will continue to have some a la carte items that are available for purchase. But every day, one Type A is free for every student that chooses to participate. And I'm very excited to introduce and welcome Mr. Adam Wheeler, an '07 Bryan grad that's coming to us from the State Highway Patrol. And we're super excited to welcome him as our new school resource officer. So welcome, Adam.
Thanks, glad to be here.
Great. Welcome, Adam. Thanks for coming on board.
Thank you for having me. Okay, thanks, Adam. Thanks, Mr. Bassett. And I believe that's all of our communications.
All right, thanks to everybody for those reports, and we'll move on then to the treasurer's report and recommendations. Kevin?
Thank you. In your packet, as normal, is the cash reconciliation and financial summary reports. I'd like to draw your attention today, though, to our income tax distribution for the previous quarter. We get quarterly income tax distributions, and the distribution for this quarter was $1.1 million, which is an increase overall of about 10% over my adjusted balance for last year. As you may recall, when we talked about this distribution last year, the state had delayed the income tax due date from April 15th into actually August last year. And so that actually very much depressed the July distribution that we received. When we received the October distribution, I tried to figure out how much of that really normally would have come in July. So when I say we had a 10% increase, that's over the adjusted number, not over our artificially low number we had last year. To break that down, the tax return collections was up 9%. That's the amount actually turned in with the tax returns. Estimated payments were up 3%. That's actually very encouraging. As we've gone along, we've talked about how we were seeing some struggle in our small business owners, which is what those estimated taxes primarily represent. So a 3% increase, that's the first time since COVID-19 started that we've seen an increase in that line item of the income tax. And so that's very encouraging to see there. And then the wage withholdings was up 9% as well. And then miscellaneous collections was up 72%. And again, overall, that's a 10% increase year over year on the July collection. So we're really pleased with that strong collection number. We will be receiving probably sometime this month the summer property tax collection from the county auditor. Once they finish up all of their work on that, they distribute that, and it usually comes in late August. So we'll have some information on that for you next month. Additionally, the state continues to work through the changes from the foundation payment through the Fair School funding. They are anticipating it being about October before they have fully implemented that, and we'll have a little bit better idea of exactly how we've landed at that point. Any questions on the financial report?
76% again as well.
Miscellaneous collections. All right. Additionally, I have amended appropriations for you. It's an increase in appropriations of about now $9,000 for this month. Next, we have the tuition rates for the 21-22 school year as set by the Ohio Department of Education. For in-state students, $6,355.82, and out-of-state students, $10,180.23. Next, I have an agreement with the Educational Service Center of Central Ohio, and that is a service that is being provided to one of our special education students who is out of district at the moment. And then I have donations for your consideration: $1,500 for girls basketball uniforms from Elizabeth and Matthew Grotehouse, $500 and a violin for the orchestra from Jean Drusdahl, $1,176 for the boys soccer team from the Athletic Boosters, $2,800 for swim and diving from the Athletic Boosters, and $400 for the band from Bryan and Pulaski.
Anybody have any questions on the treasurer's report? No. So hearing none, I would accept a motion to approve the report and the recommendations.
So moved.
Thanks, Mike.
A second.
Dustin, thank you.
Ben,
Yes.
Deb,
Yes.
Dustin,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So we'll move on down to old business and some comments on the substitute levy.
Yeah, so this is an old business because this is a reminder that we're going to hear a lot now between today and November 2nd is the date of the day that we all have the opportunity to go to the ballots, but we have our substitute levy that will be on the ballot. As a reminder, the substitute levy is not a new tax and it is not new money for the district. It is actually a renewal of an existing levy. The reason it's called a substitute levy is because we are looking to change the duration of time that those funds are collected for versus having to renew these operational funds every 5 years. So back in 2002, an emergency operational levy was passed. It generates $1.9 million for the district annually. That money has proven to be used successfully to help create opportunities for our students, and we see that continuing well into the future. So we are hoping to provide stability to the district by passing this as a substitute levy versus the more common term known as a renewal levy. Again, it's the exact same, not a new tax, not new money, still generates the $1.9 million. No change to our taxpayer situation. It just is the continuing length of time. So we're going to continue to promote that, and we have a levy committee that will be promoting a lot of the statistical financial picture pieces behind the components of that levy and how it does benefit the district. So stay tuned and we look forward to hearing from them about all of the great things that this money goes towards for the district.
Yeah. Also helping the taxpayers by the 10% kick in from the state, $191,000, so that's locked in every year as well. So,
well noted, yes,
yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks, Mark. All right, so on to new business.
Yeah, so we have some guests with us today, and it is humbling, and it is our honor to have the ability as a school district to be able to name facilities after key stakeholders and key individuals who have contributed largely to the district. We come into this setting tonight with heavy hearts. One, because we are here to honor Don Schumacher and his loss, but also his wife Marlene has just passed away in the recent days. So it's with heavy hearts that we are here, and we do have some family in attendance, and we are so thankful that Tom and Candy were able to be here. Tom is Candy's brother. Tom is Don's brother, Candy's husband. Sorry, got that wrong. So they are here on behalf of the family, but we just want to say collectively a few words about the opportunity we have to name a facility after Don for all that he has done, and that facility is going to be our press box of the football field. So I just want to give a brief highlight here about Don and what his contributions were to Bryan City Schools. So Don was affiliated with Bryan City Schools for nearly 50 years, and he served as a teacher and as an athletic director for Bryan City Schools for 25 years, and he may be best known for calling football games and was known as the voice of the Bryan Golden Bears. In addition to being an athletic director, he taught history, health, and physical education, coached many sports, and most notably to some was their driver's education instructor. So Don had a wealth of experience here at Bryan City Schools, and he gave so much back, not only to the schools, but to the people, and to the people in the community. And as we talked as a Board of Education, we thought there would be no better way than to honor someone who has had such a great presence in Bryan City Schools and the community of Bryan by naming a facility after Don. So in just a few moments, I am going to be presenting to the board a motion for approval to accept and approve the naming of our press box at the football field after Don. And it will be a really neat sight to see, and we have some events coming up here in the near future to help celebrate that. But before we do that and before we make this official, I just wanted to kind of open up the microphone. Like I said, we have Tom and Candy here in attendance, and we have some board members that may want to say a few words, and maybe even some others that want to say a few words. So at this time, if anyone wants to talk a little bit more about this, and I think, Scott, as we noted, you might want to take the mic for a few minutes. Or
yeah, I would just like to say that it is with heavy heart that we're doing this with Marlene just passing, but Don was a real mentor to me. He was my golf coach for 4 years, and I can just remember going to golf. We'd pile into the old Chevy Caprice. The 5 of us would take off to our golf matches. Later in life, he became a good friend as I became an adult and was able to play some golf. He was also my phys ed teacher
But Marlene as well, she was my business school teacher. She taught me typing, and I can still do it. And so we will miss her as well. But I think, as you said, Mark, there's no better way to honor somebody that had that much impact on our school system as Don did. And, you know, seeing him just a few years ago when another friend of ours was not well, came into the room and said, "Hey, Coach," and it's just how I always referred to him for the last 40 plus years was Coach. And Shuey was a great guy. No better man really to be part of this school system. Just a good guy. So, thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah, come on up, Tom.
I'm here in substitute for Lisa and Tiffany going through what they're going through the last few days. I want to thank the whole school system for doing this for Don. And those of you that knew Don know he had a great sense of humor. When we used to be introduced, he would always say, "I'm older, but he's gray." And he loved the fact that I had gray hair and he didn't, but I think only his hairdresser knew. Don loved Bryan community. He absolutely loved Bryan schools. He loved doing the football games. I had the opportunity to come a few times. I never knew how much work is involved in doing that.
Yeah.
Before each game, he would get the other coach and make sure he had the name pronunciations correctly. He never wanted to represent somebody's name in the wrong way. He also did all the advertising during the game, and I saw the sheets that he had to go through for that. So if you've never seen anybody do that and you want to see what's involved, sometime, if you have a chance, go up and do that, because it's a lot more work than you think. So on behalf of the family, we're awfully proud, we are honored, and I know that Don would be honored beyond belief. So thank you very much for this.
Thank you.
Anyone else that would like to say anything?
I'll just say that coming from Delta myself, I've known the Schumacher family for about 45 years, and proud to say Don was a good friend. The pride that he showed from Bryan as a teacher, coach, AD was second to none. With him being the voice of Bryan football, he served our community for close to 50 years. He exhibited class, and most of us knew him as Shuey, or to some people, Mr. Bryan at times. But it may have been from Delta, but he definitely exhibited those traits that we want to be Bryan built, and nothing but class from Don all the way through. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Chad.
So with that, it is our honor to be able to commemorate Don and his many contributions to Bryan City Schools and to the people of Bryan for his service, and for that we cannot be more thankful. So we are bringing to the Board of Education seeking official approval to name the football press box after Don Schumacher.
So I would like to make a motion to approve that the press box be named the Don Schumacher Press Box in commemoration of Don's life.
So moved. Second.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Mike.
Deb,
Yes.
Dustin,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Ben.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So at this time, we're going to take just a brief break. We'd like to take a photograph with Tom and Candy and the board. So if we can, we'll just take a brief recess. Okay. So back to our regular session here, where you will go down to the next item there on the new business, and that's delegate appointment for the OSBA annual meeting in November. So I would need someone to appoint someone for that position.
I would like to nominate you, Scott, for that position
Okay.
of appointment at the School Board Association annual meeting.
Okay.
And is it all right to go ahead and also nominate Dustin as an alternate should Scott not be able to do that, so.
Okay. So with that, I would accept a motion to approve those two names.
So moved.
Thank you, Mike.
Second.
Thanks, Ben.
Dustin,
Do I vote for both or one?
we can take them together unless there's an objection.
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Deb.
Yes.
Thank you.
The,
Say yes for the first
the
one, abstain for
enthusiasm is
mine.
overflowing.
You vote for yourself or not? I don't know.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
personal interest,
Yeah,
so
no
there was no
personal interest, so it
requirement to
doesn't matter.
abstain.
No.
All right, so then we will move down also into new business for some 2021-2022 school year back-to-school updates from Superintendent Rary.
Yes, so we are excited to get the ball rolling again. So
Yes, we are.
School starts next Wednesday, August 18th for students. Our teachers report Monday, so we have 2 busy days for them and a lot of action-packed meetings with them. I'll note that our staff will have the opportunity to hear from head coach of Minnesota football, Coach PJ Fleck. He just recently came out with a new book titled Row the Boat. It's one of the New York Times bestsellers. It was #2 in the nation at last check, so it's hot off the press, and we get the opportunity to see how our Bryan built mentality jives with his row the boat mentality. So it'll be fun for our staff to hear him, and we thank the Bryan Area Foundation for helping make that happen. But once the staff is done with their trainings and preps for the school year, the students report on the 18th, and we are really focusing on how to, 1, have a great school year, but 2, open in a safe manner. So we all know that the Delta variant continues to be a hot topic as we look to open the doors of schools, and there's a lot of information out there in the media. We have already sent out our back-to-school plans, stressing the safety protocols that we're going to follow as we open school. One of the topics that is most highly talked about are masks, and we are going to be coming out with some more information to all of our parents tomorrow in a joint statement from all of the Williams County superintendents, along with our health commissioner, Jim Watkins. And it is a statement that reaffirms that there's some differences out there right now in mandates and recommendations. So different than last year, there are no particular governor's orders or Department of Health orders that schools are following. So with that, they've issued some mandates and some recommendations. So right now, there is a current CDC mandate, and a mandate to clarify is something that must be followed by schools. It is a federal order, if you will, and the CDC is federal. So they have come out and stated that masks should be continued to be worn on public transportation. So school buses do qualify as public transportation. We've had a lot of discussion about this and a lot of fact-checking on this to see exactly where we stand on this. But schools are, in essence, required to follow this mandate by the CDC and are obliged to have our stakeholders wear masks on buses. So we're going to be clarifying that to our stakeholders as we look to open the doors next week. Again, we're going to be sending out some memos tomorrow. That's going to be from all of the school districts in the county so that we're all in unison together. And it's along with our health department who helps guide us through these tricky situations. Masks in school or inside are still highly recommended. So from our perspective, masks are highly recommended. With recommendations, we just encourage stakeholders to educate themselves on the topic, and they can make the decision that they see fit for the situation. So masks are highly recommended in schools. And vaccinations, that's another question we get frequently. Again, same thing, those come highly recommended by departments, but again, that is people's choice if they choose to receive the vaccine or not. We just encourage families, again, to educate themselves on the facts of the vaccinations and make the decision that is best for them and their family. So that information will be coming tomorrow, and we're just going to continue to focus on a great start to the school year, and we're hoping that just like last year, we start off with a bang and stay safe and healthy and everything goes according to plan, and that we have an outstanding school year. We know our students are going to do great things, so we're looking forward to celebrating their accomplishments throughout the school year. So,
Very good.
if you have any questions.
Go ahead.
So our athletic teams, our band, anybody that's traveling for also any extracurriculars in addition to on the buses, in addition to our day-to-day school transportation will be masking?
Great
for that?
question. Yep. So anytime we have to step onto a bus or a van or any type of school transportation, we're going to be asking our stakeholders to put on the mask in accordance with the mandate that's out there. Now, I should note that the CDC mandate is set to expire on September 13th. So it's very unique that that's only about the first 3 to 4 weeks of the school year. We are hearing heavy rumors that they're going to extend that end date, but as of today, we have not heard of an extension. So from now until September 13th, or I should say from the start of school until September 13th, we will be following that mandate. So yes, great question. Field trips, athletic trips, anything that involves our school transportation.
And I guess just one other, I know that all during last year you were providing ongoing updates about any concerns within the school or any cases of COVID. Does that continue, that, if you will, that report that we were getting consistently?
As long as people don't get sick of hearing it from me, yes. No, I'm joking. Yes, yes, we plan, I did that typically on Fridays last year.
Yes.
And it was a summary of the week.
Yes.
And I plan to do that starting with the first week of school. We are still required by the state of Ohio to submit our data. So if we do happen to learn of a positive case, we have to submit that data to our health department, and then that gets sent into the state statistics. So I will resume the Friday updates. And depending on how things are going, maybe every other week. We'll just kind of wait and see how that goes. But I felt last year the weekly update was sufficient. It gave people a good grasp on what our current circumstances were. And in this case, with a little more choice involved with some of these topics, such as masks, it'll help them make the decision that they see fit for themselves.
Thank you.
Mark, that communication is going to come out tomorrow from the county superintendents?
Correct.
Good. And I would encourage family members, community members, any stakeholder or anybody who has an interest in it to read that information that will be coming out. I know also in there, I think you're going to have some protocols on quarantine and flow charts because it's a little bit different than it was last year if we were to have a case. So I think it's just important for people to read that information and make sure they're familiar with those charts.
Yeah, that's a great
I
point.
looked at them today, and
because you will see in those charts that were released by the Ohio Department of Health that they have guidelines for situations where you're masked or not masked, or vaccinated or not vaccinated.
Correct.
We are going to do our part as a school system. We had some meetings today to really stress keeping students at that safe social distance that's being recommended to us of 3 feet or more. So if we can help our cause by keeping people just that 3 feet or that arm's length away with our social distancing, that will also reduce any possible spread that could happen with the Delta variant or the virus in general. So we'll do our part there. And then, great point, we ask everyone to educate themselves on the masks and vaccinations, and seek out, if you have any questions, we can always, please feel free to contact us.
I just want to encourage people to read that stuff because that information is there.
Yep.
And so the answers to a lot of questions can be found in
Correct.
That information. So please read it.
I know that we had good response to vaccination clinics that we've sponsored here. Do we foresee that there would be any of that possibility coming forth or anything here?
Yeah, so the health department, we actually have a memorandum of understanding with the health department to use our facilities for any vaccination clinics as they see fit. So we had a great response with our staff clinics that were held last year. We did host one student clinic towards the end of the year. At that time, the age requirement was 16 and plus, and only for the Pfizer vaccine. We did have a very minimal amount of students attend that clinic, but throughout the summer months and continuing into today, the vaccination is readily available at multiple sites in the county, along with at our county health department. So if the need would ever arise again to have a mass vaccination clinic for whatever reason, we do have that MOU in place, and we are more than happy to provide our facilities just to allow the space for something like that to happen. So yes.
And should there be, some incidents that we feel is significant, we are as a school ready to respond to that quickly if it would require some additional procedures.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I do meet I'm part of a COVID defense team across the county, and at this point, our meetings are very frequent. So that allows me to get updated data. I've been able to receive countywide data throughout the summer months, and now that we're back in school, we will also be receiving our in-district data. So we will allow that data to help drive decisions in moving forward, because our ultimate goal is making sure we're safe. We just don't know how this Delta variant will react when kids do get back into school. So safety will be our first priority, and we will work in conjunction with the health department and continue open communication with our board to make decisions that are appropriate for the safety of our most prized possessions, our youth. So we'll keep that in mind.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Comments?
Just gotta get the doors open just like last year. Get the ball rolling,
We're
good
ready.
to go.
We're ready.
All right, thanks for those updates. And I think we'll move on then to the superintendent's recommendations. So Mark,
Yeah.
I'll give it back to you.
Yep, so I'll kick it off here with our administrative recommendations. First up, we have an annual agreement that we have to transport students to the YMCA during the morning and afternoon, and in some cases during midday routes, and that helps get them to their child care services that they have at the YMCA. So you can see that agreement per Exhibit F. And then we also have another administrative recommendation for the approval of our community hospitals and wellness centers in St. Pat's speech contract. And that allows the community hospitals and wellness center to provide a speech therapist or speech therapist services, I should say, to our students that attend St. Pat's Catholic School. And that is per Exhibit G.
All right, I was just checking something else here. So, I would accept a motion to approve those administrative recommendations from the superintendent.
So moved?
Thank you, Deb.
Second.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Ben.
Yes.
Deb.
Yes.
Dustin.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then on to personnel recommendations from our superintendent.
Yeah, so we have some changes still happening as we prepare to start for school next week. So in letter A, we have the approval of our certified and classified substitutes for this school year. So we have 4 new names that will be added to that list so they can substitute within our district. Letter B is actually a duplicate with letter I, so I'm going to circle back to that recommendation once we get to letter I, so you can just cross out. We had Mo Zuver on there 2 times, so we're just going to cross this one off for now. At letter C, we have 2-year administrative contracts in effect August 1st. These people are officially on the job. We have Adam Wheeler as our school resource officer, who will be joining us, and we just met him tonight. And Kylie Maker-Blad was promoted from her teaching position to our vacant pre-K to 5 special education director position. So I would just like to note, I know that those both have administrative contract titles. We have a variety of personnel within the school district that have an administrative contract just because they don't fit into the mold of either a classified staff member or a teacher on a teacher contract. So they have that label or that title with their contract. But to date, I think this is a good opportunity to note that we've been striving and working very hard to remain fiscally responsible and diligent with our funds as we move forward. And Mr. Schaefer and myself were running some numbers even this afternoon just to see where we stand, because what sticks out to me in this recommendation is Kylie Maker-Blad shifting from her teaching role to the director role. But through that process of attrition, we've had retirements, we've had resignations, and we've had some transfers like this. We've been able to reduce 7 positions now in a calendar year. So from last July to this July, we've now reduced 7 positions, which is a savings of approximately $600,000. So over $500,000 there, and we want to continue to remain fiscally responsible with our trends. We never want to be in a position where we're not able to service our students, but we always take a very hard look at how we service our students and how we can remain fiscally responsible. Moving on to letter D, we have some changes in our salary placement schedule. We had some staff members achieve their master's degree and their master's plus 20 through the credits and coursework that they've completed at the collegiate level. Letter E, we have the approval of our bus and van driver hours for this school year, and that's per the exhibit. And you'll see all the different routes there and all the different hours required for them to drive and accommodate their duties. Letter F is the new hired classified staff for this coming school year. So we have 2 new hires, Cody King at 5.25 hours per day, pending we receive his certifications and paperwork, and Stephanie Brodock as a server in our cafeteria with food service. Moving on to letter G, we had some transfers. We're still shifting some of our paraprofessionals around, so you can see that Jordana Walker, Jennifer Sampson, and Christine Kiesecker have transferred into new roles within the district. Letter H, we have the assignment of a mentor teacher, that's Nikki Malenga, to our new hire, Delaney Miley, and they will mentor them in part with our resident educator licensure program, which is a requirement for all new teachers to go through to obtain their professional license at a later date, actually after 4 years. It's a 4-year process. So, letter I, this is where we will get to Mo Zuver. We have the approval of our 21-22 supplemental contract. So we have Jessica Robb as an assistant volleyball coach, Erica Alabada as an assistant volleyball coach, and Mo Zuver as an assistant boys basketball coach. Letter J, we have the approval of our fall athletic department workers. So those are all of the workers that help make all the magic happen at all of those events during the fall sports season. Letter K, we have a parenting leave. Paige Gansmiller will be taking this school year off to stay at home, and will look to possibly rejoin employment with the school system at a later date. And letter L, we had 2 resignations, one in our food service arena with Amanda Romas, and another one as a paraprofessional with Heather Bates. So we wish them both the best of luck as they pursue future endeavors. So I believe those are all the personnel recommendations.
Thank you. Any questions for Superintendent on those personnel recommendations? No. So hearing none, I would accept a motion to approve the Superintendent's personnel recommendations.
So moved.
Thanks, Mike.
Second.
Thanks, Ben. Dustin. Yeah, I'm writing one.
Thought my ears were going there for a second. Scott.
Yes.
Ben.
Yes.
Deb.
Yes.
Dustin.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just trying to keep you on your toes there, Mr.
Thank you.
Schaefer.
Thank you, Mr. Benedict.
So we'll move on down to points of information. Mark, if you'd
Yep.
like to go over those.
Yep, so our next board meeting is right here, September 13th at 7 o'clock p.m. And then we do need to discuss our November board meeting date. It is currently set for the second Monday in November, which I believe is November 7th or 8th. But that is the same day that the Ohio School Boards Conference is happening in Columbus that we will be in attendance at. So my recommendation, if it works with everyone's schedules, is that we push that November board meeting back 1 week to November 15th, I believe is the date. For 2 reasons. One, we're going to be at the OSBA conference. Secondly, I don't think it makes sense for us to move that board meeting up earlier to November 1st, pending
with
the election day. So
Right.
my recommendation would be the 3rd Monday, which is November 15th.
We do, that's,
I don't think we need
We
to approve
just-
anything. We just need to
that works for
No.
me.
public notice whenever that change is noted.
Okay.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for a notice of change of meeting date.
Sure. All right. And Business Advisory Council meeting dates.
Yep, so we're putting together our Business Advisory Council. It looks like we're going to have anywhere from 5 to 8 community members join myself, Kevin, Mike, and Ben for discussions. We meet quarterly, and our first date is set in September, so that's September 15th. And then we also have dates set on November 17th, February 16th, and May 18th to round out the year. Just a couple other important notes to throw out there.
Sure.
We already said this, I think twice already, but our registration day is tomorrow. That's for all families to come register for the school year. So both
Right.
buildings, if you have students in both buildings, you can attend both and do one-stop shopping. But you get your homeroom list, your class schedules, you pay fees, can contribute your money into the, if you need it, into your lunch accounts, pick up a variety of informational packets. It's just a one-stop shopping to take care of all that back-to-school stuff, and we encourage all families to come out. That runs from 11:30 to 7:30 tomorrow in both buildings. And those times are set to hopefully accommodate some of the
Right.
daytime work schedules.
Don't miss that meeting, Mr. Schlochter.
With bells, I'll be here, buddy. And the bell is a 2-year-old.
We also have not October, August 16th, which is one Monday from today, believe it or not,
Right.
is open house. So we're gonna have open house 5:30 to 7 for pre-K to 5 and 6 to 7:30 for grades 6 to 12 at the middle school, high school. And then we have August 18th is the day. We'll be back in school. So we're looking forward to a week and a half from now and getting all those kids back in here. So it'll be here before we know it.
Yes, it will.
Those are
All right. Moving down, thank you, Mr. Airy. Moving down, executive session.
I'm aware of the need for executive session for compensation of an employee and sale of property at competitive bidding.
All right, so I would accept a motion to go into executive session.
So moved. I'll second.
I'll give it to Ben, thank you, and to Deb, thank you.
Ben?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Dustin?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you, everyone.